We had a living room. We had a kitchen. We had a refrigerator, not an icebox. We had a refrigerator. Icebox were very common in those days. We moved from an apartment where we had an icebox. And we had an operating stove and oven. What else could you want?
Well, this past Monday, we had an event called The First Backyard, the Voices of Ida B. Wells residents, and we had 4 gentlemen who grew up in Ida B. Wells, and they came and told stories and reminisced and talked about playgrounds and school and parents and family life. So that even though we don't have a physical museum yet, we're not being quiet about this. We're not just going to kind of sit around and say, okay, let's just wait until we have, you know, physical space. We're going to have programs, or we're going to have the exhibit at the Tourism Center. The idea behind the design for History Coming Home was really to give people a taste of what we're going to look like when we open in the fall of 2012. It's really hard to get people to understand what we're trying to do. We are modeled after the Lower East Side Tenement Museum in New York City. And they really took the concept of recreating space. Because physical space is so powerful to people, we don't want people to walk in and say, you know, see object, object, object. We really want to create a space that they can come in and feel what a 1940s Italian-American public housing project apartment was, or a 1960s African-American family's kitchen. We really want to make it as interactive as possible. So we really wanted to take this exhibit, and even though it is a rather small exhibit, it's about 20 feet by 20 feet, we wanted to pack it with as much as we could and really give people a taste of what the museum will look like and how interactive it will be, with people being able to open dresser drawers and hear, you know, see stories or flip through the recipe cards in the kitchen and, you know, hear different quotes and anecdotes and things that people went through, and, you know, the good, the bad, the ugly, you know, see that public housing is a lot more dynamic than a lot of people have realized.
Ida B. Wells had more amenities. It was one of the first housing developments to have its own laundromat, and if you can understand in 1941, to have your own laundromat, it was something unique. And and if anyone were to, if the wives of any of these gentlemen sitting here were to say that they don't know how to fold clothes, they would be lying. They know how to wash, fold, and hang clothes, because this was a part of our responsibilities in that housing development.
I think that the main story is how dynamic public housing is. Public housing in Chicago especially has a bad rap. You know, we think of Robert Taylor, we think of Cabrini Green, we think of gangs and violence, and the museum is in no way trying to say that those things didn't exist and do not exist in public housing, because there's no denying that there's drugs, there's no denying that there's violence or gang activity. But there are also flower gardens, and there were helpful neighbors and people who really wanted to make something of themselves.